Hello everyone. Before we begin, I just want to apologize for the squeaks you're gonna hear. It was someone's chair. Antonia's. Thank you. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Exploring Nollywood podcast. I'm your host, Marianne. Call me Mimi, but people are gonna call me Marianne. Oh well, Yinka couldn't make it. But with me, I've got my sister. Introduce yourself, Anne.
Hi guys, it's Antonia, call me Toni.
No one calls you Toni.
Literally just the people in this house don't call me Toni. Everyone else who knows me calls me Toni.
Last episode we talked about how I got into Nollywood. So when I was watching the films, my sister was watching me as well. But let's hear it from her mouth. How did you get into Nollywood? What's your Nollywood origin story?
Well, I mean, it would be the same as anyone who grew up in Nigeria. It's not something you can avoid. So that, I guess, my Nollywood origin story is I've grown up with Nollywood. I've always been exposed to it.
I bet some posh people probably never even watched like a single video of Nollywood. Like they were all on like Disney and Nickelodeon and...
I mean, we were on Disney and Nickelodeon too.
But, you know, we were also pretty... we were grounded. We were grounded by Hollywood. That's what I'm saying. This episode, I really want to get into our tropes, our trends, the kind of stories that we tell in Nollywood. Like, from the beginning, some people might contest this, but... one of the first official Nollywood movies was called Living in Bondage, and it was about a girl that had sickle cell. Sickle cell is very prevalent in Nigerian society. And I think romance was involved because yes, guys, romance is always involved. So that being the first official Nollywood movie, since then we've kind of expanded, we've broadened our horizons. You've got, as it is now, we've got old Nollywood and new Nollywood, which is sort of, we discussed it last time, the emergence of things like Iroko and YouTube ushering in like a new age of Nollywood movies. So we've got new Nollywood and old Hollywood. But I feel like we still tell the same stories. Would you agree?
Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of new Nollywood because I don't relate to it as much, I think. It's just a different set of... I mean, what you said is, yeah, we're telling the same stories, but you're telling it in a completely different way that not everyone might relate to, especially if you are used to or you've grown up with the style of old Nollywood. A lot of...
That's true.
You're almost kind of loyal to old Nollywood and the way they do things there, so...
What is the most common story we tell? What do you think?
Witchcraft, ritualists, Nigerian life, I think. Things that you're just...
You're wrong.
Oh my.
The most common story we tell is the Cinderella story. Rich girl.
Oh my god.
Poor girl.
Yes.
Rich man. Yes.
Bread sellers. Orange sellers.
Akara sellers.
Oh my god. It's...
Orphans.
I can think of several movies. Just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Word apart. What's the other one? Moments of truth or moments of joy or one...
Moments of everything, fam. Moments of... We've got that Cinderella story locked. It's locked. And it's a very easy story to tell. Poor girl, suffer. Rich guy, great. Put them together. Nollywood movie, yo.
Cinderella story.
Yeah. We tell that story. So, even in new Nollywood. But here's the thing, right? We tell that story so often, but we're still captivated by it. We still want the girl to get her guy. No matter how many times. And it's been years, guys. It's been so long. But we still tell that story. Do you know why?
Why?
Because Nollywood watchers are mostly women. And we love romance.
It's everywhere.
It is.
And I mean, even in Hollywood, they've done a Cinderella story to death.
That's true. Actual Cinderella.
Actual Cinderella. A Cinderella story. A Cinderella.
But
another Cinderella story.
So many Cinderella. But for it to be a Cinderella story in Nollywood, some things need to happen. Number one, Mama must die.
Oh,
Mama must die.
No, Mama is usually sick and they need medicine. She doesn't always die. Like in the two that I'm thinking about, Mama is very much alive.
Oh.
Mama suffered.
Everyone.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Mama must suffer. But Mama lived.
The poor girl has to have a parent. We say mama because it's mostly a mother, but sometimes it's the dad. Okay. But the main lead's mom must be sick and must die. Or maybe she's already dead and she's an orphan. Orphan is also there.
Think orphan, think wicked stepmother, first person that comes into your head.
Nkiru Sylvanus.
Nkiru, Pepe is there.
We're gonna, later on in this podcast, we're gonna talk about that. I have some questions for you. It'll be fun. So yes, Mama must die. 2, she must be an idiot. Is she ever smart? Tell the truth.
No.
She must be an idiot.
No, she must be, I think the word to use is naive.
She must be naive, but hardworking, you know.
Oh yes, always hard.
And she must
there has to be something that attracts him to her. Like, no. He has other girls that are rich and are on his level, but no.
She's so hardworking.
One girl.
She's so respectful. Oh my God. Does she help the old woman sweep the streets?
She's so down to earth. That's where she lives first.
So I think that comes for what the ideal Nigerian woman is, sort of in our collective consciousness.
That's true.
Respectful, hardworking, naive,
innocent.
Good at cooking. She always you know, the Cinderella is gonna cook food for the guy, and he's gonna be like,
in that cooler. It has to be in that one cooler that everyone seems to have. Like, where did they purchase this? Every single movie I've ever seen, always in this small brown cooler with like, it's a light bottom and a darker top.
Oh yes.
Where are they buying this from, please?
I don't know, but they're there. So of course she must cook.
And his current girlfriend or ex-girlfriend cannot cook.
Oh no. Yeah, that also brings us to the ex-girlfriend part of the role. The ex-girlfriend is always loud, rude. She doesn't cook. She doesn't know how to cook. She doesn't bother to cook.
Care.
She doesn't clean. She doesn't. So basically, the antithesis of what the
perfect or the typical Nigerian woman should be,
which is she is never respectful to her elders. How dare you? She's mean. She doesn't clean. She doesn't do housework basically. Mm-hmm. And she sometimes she's from abroad, man.
They're usually from abroad.
She's always abroad.
That's why she doesn't cook or clean. We don't
cook or clean.
No.
But I find that. Well, I want to discuss it on a later episode, but I also want to talk about the gender roles, the perceptions of femininity and females in Nigerian society. That one is going to be a controversial episode, but it's going to be good. So the guy must always be rich. He can't be poor. What the hell is the point?
Poor and poor? That's not an interesting story.
No one wants to watch that. I don't. But he can legit be a prince. He doesn't have to be a prince.
But what I found is with the princes, there isn't a specific typecast for them.
What do you mean?
So they can either be a really nice guy, or they can be the worst, but they are still that prince. Have you ever noticed that it could be he's down to earth, he's lovely, everyone likes him, and he's, he donates to the poor and his subjects don't hate him. Or he can be the complete opposite.
And be
the worst.
He could be Ego Tupac. But he's not. Guys, just search it up. Just
Ego Tupac.
Just search an Igwe Tupac. No, figure it out. So yeah, the prince must always be the prince.
He must always be rich.
And
he
then
must always be a prince character.
And the prince always has a mother who is the devil. Yes, usually played by, say it with me, Patience Uzoko.
Oh, Mama G in the house.
Yes. We're gonna talk about Mama G.
No one does it quite like her.
Last episode, we told you that she doesn't get her due respect, and she doesn't. She needs to be a bit more respected. Mama G ran so we could walk. It's what I'm saying. So he must always have a wicked mom who torments
Cinderella.
who just torments Cinderella so much.
She's the wicked stepmother, but she doesn't even have to be a stepmother. She just has to be there.
Yeah.
That character is there.
Because of course. How do we know that the Cinderella is a good girl if she isn't tested?
If there isn't a bad person.
If she doesn't get angry. If she gets angry, then she's obviously not a Cinderella.
She's exactly like the ex-girlfriend. What's the point?
So we tell that story a lot. We've got it down pat. We even know the actors, man. We even know the actors. Quickly, give me 3 actors for Cinderella.
Actresses. Omotola, Genevieve, Nkiru. If it's a particularly bad one where she's an orphan and she's suffering and she's downtrodden,
she cries so much.
That's Nkiru Savannah's right there.
She cries so much.
All the time. So 3 popular ones.
That's 3.
Princes, go.
My guy Ken Eriks.
Always Ken Eriks. I don't
Eriks.
think I've ever watched a film where Ken Eriks is in some kind of prince.
Right?
Or some sort of prince character.
But Ken Eriks is from New Nollywood. Old Nollywood, Desmond Elliot.
Oh, Old Nollywood, Desmond Elliot, Jim I.
Saint Obi.
Oh.
My guy Saint Obi.
Babes.
Guys,
you think Saint West is the first saint that we know?
No.
Saint Obi is the OG saint. Don't.
Like Saint West, best pay your respects.
Should take several seats.
So it's always that guy. Now, let's talk about this. But what does it tell you about Nigerian society? The fact that these princes are there. Number one, the Cinderella story shows income inequality a lot, which sort of reflects our country because, the rich and the poor live so close to each other. But I think what it really does bring out is our need for Prince Charming. Like, even though he's rude or he's mean or he's... You know what? When he's bad, when he's a bad boy, think J-Mike. The OG. But I think it sort of speaks to Prince Charming in us. So, we want to meet that... It's a woman thing. We want to meet that guy. And if he's a bad boy, we
want to change it.
We want to change. Beauty and the Beast, guys. Beauty and the Beast. It could also be... That is another subset of the Cinderella story.
And it can be it's usually often in the same story. So we are mixing fairy tales every day.
But I think the Cinderella story appeals to women. We love watching it. And I don't know why. What's the second most popular one?
Most popular trope?
Yeah, the most popular story we tell.
I said ritualists before, but I'm not...
No, the ritualists. The ritualist is this...
Number 1 ritualist, go.
Clem Ohameze. Chiwetalagu. Kanayo.
Kanayo. Oh!
That man can play a ritualist.
I once saw a meme where it's like, this one, poor man, this 2,
Rich.
billionaire. How?
It's on our Instagram page.
His family is missing. He has no family now.
I have never seen that dude act a good part. Kanayo.
I think he was poor and humble in one. I think.
No, he's always poor and humble at the beginning. And then he meets the chief and dude's suddenly a millionaire. He's got his hats. He's got his cars. He's got his gigantic house. We love the ritualist storyline. I don't know why, but if I were to think about it, it's basically the battle of good and evil. It's telling us somehow that everyone has that desire to be rich, to be a millionaire, to be in the billionaires club, but people go about it the wrong way. So they do the ritualist. They are happy for a while, and then something happens, and they don't win. They die.
I think that's the real story behind it. I think the real story is, yes, you have all these good things, and but to get it, the sacrifice that you have to go through, are you actually willing to take that sacrifice? And if you do, it's not worth it. You've made a deal with the devil. You're stuck in this now, and that's it. You're done.
There's no one ritualist film
that the ritualist has won.
No,
ever.
So I think it is trying to tell the Nigerian society that, look, we know things are hard and things are really hard, but don't
take the easy way out. I mean, it might not necessarily be easy to kill your mother and kill your dead dad.
I watched this film. with what's one of my favorite actors, Ernest Obi, and this is a new Nollywood film. I think it was from last 2 years or so, where he has to sacrifice his wife, and even before they tell him to sacrifice his wife, she's like, "I'm gonna kill her." He's like, "I'm just gonna do it. You don't need to tell me. I'll do it right now." But yeah, as you said, it is that sacrifice of killing, and it's usually killing, isn't it?
It's always killing.
It's always killing, it's always harming someone, and then in the end, good always wins in the form of a pastor.
Always
a pastor.
Always a pastor.
That's more about our Christian roots, isn't it? The Christian roots of Nollywood. As Nollywood is more of the south, so we rarely have films in Muslim.
And like a Muslim, that's true.
That's because obviously there's been a disconnect between the north and the south in Nigeria, in that the north is more Muslim and the south is Christian. And Nollywood is sort of used to be based in Lagos, and now it's sort of based in Lagos, Abuja, Enugu, all those places. So from those are Christian places.
Yeah.
It's always a Christian god. So that's actually something really interesting to take into account when we're talking about Nollywood. Geographical location itself, where Nollywood physically is, really influences the kind of stories.
Really, yeah.
Hey, guess what we haven't talked about?
What?
Or what we briefly brushed on, in that we love juju.
Oh!
We love it. I
love a good juju film.
Yes.
Not gonna lie to you.
For those that are listening that don't know what we're talking about, and our future guest, juju.
A bit of
jude is witchcraft. A little bit of jude. If your movie's bad, just sprinkle in jude.
Bit of jude. It might not have needed it, but just...
It's always better.
Salt-based.
And juju is such a huge part of so many of the stories that we have talked about. Cinderella story. Someone's done juju and jazzed her mother. Yes.
Probably how she died.
Ritualist. Someone has done juju to be rich. Suffering porn. Yes. Suffering porn movies. Yes. Someone has done juju to make a life live in hell.
That's true.
Oh, is she an evil mother? Sprinkle in some juju. Make her worse.
And you think, I think sometimes as well, they're just mean and they're evil, and you're like, okay, they're a horrible person. And then just sprinkle some juju, like, alright.
Yes.
I mean, you were doing alright before, but wow, there's levels to this. You ramped it up.
Even back to, I've forgotten the name of this film. This is one of the earlier Nollywood films. The one with RMD, Richard Mofe-Damijo. That was the pause of silence for him. Not because he's dead. We're giving him deference. Okay, like we're respecting the guy. Where she traps him in a bottle.
What is the name of that film?
I have no idea.
There was so much juju in that film. Bottle one, there's a tattoo one.
And I think juju has its rules. Number one, you have to give away something to get something.
I think that's the... Again, that comes back to the lesson of you have to sacrifice to make something. Are you willing to make that sacrifice? And then you might not have to sacrifice anything, but it will always come back to bite you.
That's the second rule of juju. It will always come back. And 3, you cannot anger the gods.
Imagine you do juju and then you refuse to pay the payment that you were supposed to pay.
Are you a learner?
Are you okay? Like, really? The gods never... never forget.
Never. Oh, and then if you want to talk about Yoruba movies, it's all over. It is all over. Juju is all over that. It's all over everywhere. And good and evil, sacrifice versus reward, all these comes to play when you're telling a story in Nollywood about juju.
Yeah, every time.
Okay, I think... So, moving on from the ritualist, what's the other one?
The runs.
Yes.
If you don't know what runs is...
It's prostitution.
Come on now.
It's prostitution.
Come on now.
It's prostitution.
I feel like there's a distinction between prostitution and runs. There's prostitution films. There's that one.
Okay, yeah.
And then runs is a different level. There's levels to this. There's prostitution, or there's selling yourself in the streets. There's
no one's ever interested. No, sometimes people are interested in that. Domitila.
No, I'm not saying there's no prostitution films, but I feel like those wouldn't count as Ron's Girls films. Ron's Girls films are things like
usually Mercy Johnson when she was younger.
Yes.
Gallant Babe.
That's the one I was thinking about. Gallant
Yes.
Babes. That's Ron's. All of them in that sort of trope of
we love.
Chief is having a party.
I
have
girls.
this many girls I'm bringing. How much is our share? How much is my share for bringing in girls? That's Ron's.
Why do you think we enjoy Ron's movies? And I think this is us specifically, not greater Nollywood.
I don't
me
know.
And you.
I don't know.
Do you know why? I want to see bad babes doing bad
things. Oh, these girls don't come to play.
No, and they're not dressed
to
play.
Like, these are the girls that you see in the marketplace in heels. Like, you know,
yes.
You got some things about you, girl. And do your business.
If you look at old Nollywood, think about it, old Nollywood, most of the actresses that we have now got their start in Ron's
films. That's true.
We love our Ron's girls. But I think this is one of the issues I have with new Nollywood actors. I sort of feel like they don't deserve popularity, but I feel like they didn't struggle the way our old-time actresses had to do.
Because it's easy.
Mercy Johnson had to struggle to get out of that Ron's girl thing.
If anyone ever says to me that they don't value or they don't respect Mercy Johnson as an artist,
first of all, that person is mad.
You don't need that kind of negativity in your life. If you ever come across someone that they might not like her as a person, but they have to respect her as an artist.
Oh yes,
because she is good. She has spent years. She has perfected her craft to the point where she's one of those people that she's one of the pinnacles of Nollywood. And I think she's in that sort of middle of old Nollywood and new Nollywood, because I think old Nollywood would be people like Omotola, Iniedu, Genevieve. And definitely. Then sort of in the middle is people like Mercy Johnson, what's her name? Stephanie Okereke is old.
Stephanie Okereke is sort of the same time. Yeah. Around the same time. But yeah, you can actually really chart the trends in Nollywood if you follow someone like Iniedu's career or Mercy Johnson, or even more importantly, Omotola, because Omotola was old Nollywood, like old Nollywood. As I said,
Omotola and Genevieve were like they almost came as a pair, but at the same time they were completely separate.
And then during that mid times of Ron's Girls, just when Nollywood was getting a bit more money into it, when you've got like Bimbo Akintola and those bad girls, man.
Bimbo Akintola,
Kate Henshaw.
Yeah,
so you've got so you've got those middle ones, and then you've got the new Nollywood like Belinda Efwa, and.
I think the fact that you don't know their names as much sort of tells you that whilst they're popular and you'd probably be able to recognize their faces, they're not household names.
They don't have that brand impact that someone like Mercy Johnson,
like their names that
Mona Lisa
Chinna, like you go
Richard Dominic.
You go into a room that is Nigerians, and you know maybe they grew up in Nigeria, and you say these names, and you will immediately, you might even get names of films that they've been in, characters that they've played. They might not even be known by their actual names. They'll be known by characters.
Sharon Stone for Genevieve. When she first started, one of her first movies was called Sharon Stone, and she blew from that. So yeah, sometimes I do feel like they haven't and it doesn't have to do with talent, because these guys are brimming with talent. I just feel like you have to have gone to the ringer. Just
like if you were there right at the beginning, obviously you've struggled
with Nollywood.
In this period of time, I think it's easier for people to become popular, but they don't have to do as much. They don't have to make as big of an impact.
Well, that is for the new Nollywood actors. What about the actors that we find on YouTube? The Inigo and Asaba ones. People like Regina Daniels who work. They've got like 10 films every day on YouTube.
Are they good
Part
films?
1 to 8.
Are they good films?
Okay, let's not get into that. Oh. Let's move on.
You mentioned Regina Daniels. My blood pressure has gone up because we're not doing that today.
Let's just move on. my god, how did we not talk about historicals?
Village films.
What is wrong with us?
I love village films. Sometimes that is just when you have like a need in your spirit.
Yeah, you just want
to see someone in a wrapper
and in a hut. You just want to see hut
in 2-piece wrapper, some beads, some drawing on their face. Their hair is not a lace front and side.
Nope,
guys.
Usually it's about, well, it says it's in our history. The story is always, in fact, there are very few that aren't romance Cinderella type.
That's true. No. Think of anything with Gentle Jack in it from the old days. Anything with Gentle Jack in it. Anything with Gentle Jack in it that he's wearing just a tunic. Let's call it a tunic.
Yeah. That is more old Nollywood though.
No, that's definitely old Nollywood. I don't really like new Nollywood telling
action stories
or new Nollywood telling village stories. It doesn't come across as genuine to me at all. It just doesn't feel quite right. It's a bit too crisp. It's a bit too clear.
We're just so used to one style. We can't cross over to definitely a better style,
more advanced style, because we're so used to the old one.
That's just us. There's no real hate for new Nollywood.
Oh god, no.
Historicals are pre-colonization. It's always Cinderella, or it's an action movie
where they're hunted, where there's a sickness in the land and you have to go to the
Egg of Life.
Egg of Life.
Again, Egg of Life is another Cinderella story.
Enchanted Forest. What? What are they called? Forbidden Forest.
The Evil Forest.
The Evil Forest.
Yes.
All its conceptions.
Historicals are usually telling stories of before colonization, before electricity, before war, before
guns, and just even the most rudimentary tools.
A more feudal time where kings ruled and the village people, and there were little villages that are just there next to each other.